All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. You've got Ashley Weeds here. I am joined by two fantastic women, Beth Bolus and Sarah Luce. And we are here to talk to you tonight about their stories as teachers. We got Beth here. She has about 27 years experience as a teacher. Sarah has about 6, 7 years. So they wanted to come on tonight and we wanted to share a little bit about their history, what has changed, how it's changed, and where they're at today. And let me tell you, I'm so excited for this share that I feel like, kids are in school right now, and I am so thankful for the teachers right now because winter break has been crazy for us. And to see, some teacher friends of mine share their journey and share their heart like that I think that's amazing. So you're going to want to stick around to the end because I've got something really cool giveaway that I want to do. So if you're jumping on, you're watching this live, put hashtag live there for me in the comments. If you are watching this on the replay, please put hashtag replay. Say hi to us. We don't bite. So I guess to get us started here, and thank you ladies for joining me here. Beth, I wanted to know, so being a teacher is very hard. It's a very hard job. And
Ashley, I think your internet's a little unstable. I'm having trouble hearing you.
oh man, can you hear me okay, Sarah?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. If it goes out again, Beth, let me know. All right. Hopefully you can hear me. Is that all right?
Sarah, if you heard the question, you might want to take it because I can hear you, but I can't hear her.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
So Sarah,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. So I was gonna say, you gotta love technology, right? So I was gonna say that, being a teacher is very hard. I know I've got 3 boys here at home, and that's hard enough as it is. I can't imagine having, however many how many students you have virtually or physically if you do that. Tell me a little bit about your struggles that you've had in the past, and how things that you've had to deal with.
Oh my goodness, where do I start? So as a teacher, so first of all, my first year was tough. It was tough. It was really rough. I came in, you kind of get thrown into the mix. You go to school, you get thrown into the mix, and you're like, okay, you got to learn on your feet. You got to go. And every single teacher will tell you the same. Like, you got to learn as you go. It's kind of like, okay, I have all this knowledge base, but now how do I put it into practice, and how does it look like in a classroom? It's very different than being in the class learning about it. And doing even your practicum, which is what we call whenever, we follow another teacher. So my first year was rough. It was rough. I was put in front of, I had different, I was always a long-term supply teacher. So literally I went from school to school, for 2-3 months at a time. And then I would switch schools and then start fresh again. And then it was go all the time. So I had to learn different curriculums, and I had to learn how to implement it fast. And basically what that means is that I was always tired. I was always exhausted. I was always barely having any sleep. I would stay up until 11, 12, 1 a.m. trying to go ahead and plan for the next day so that I knew what I was doing. And that was literally, it was survival mode. And so I remember going home after work some days and just crying, just literally crying and just like being like, what am I doing? What did I get myself into? Am I really made to be a teacher? So on and so forth. And my father would say, Sarah, you stick with it for 5 years. Stick it with it for 5 years, give it 5 years. You've done all this, journey. You've done all this road. You can do it. So anyways, all that to say that through these 5 years, 6, even, 5 years or so, I was going ahead and I would get home and I was just spent, and I didn't have any more energy to go ahead and give to my family. I would give my all to my students, and I would be left with nothing at the end of the day. Takeout was what I would survive on. Caffeine is what I survived on. Coffee. And honestly, I just couldn't, I'm someone that grew up having very healthy habits. And whenever I came to this point in my life, I just couldn't maintain it because I was just too tired mentally, physically, emotionally. I was spent. And so that is basically what I struggled with, was just keeping on going with life. And I thought that was what life was all about. And that's what I would deal with for the rest of my life. I didn't know there was something else out there that could help me. And people would say, you know, oh, just exercise, just eat well. It wasn't doing anything for me because I would literally go ahead, I would get on it, I would start restricting everything because I thought that's what I had to do. And I would just end up being even more tired in the end, not able to keep up with all the things. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I struggled with. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And if you guys can relate to anything that Sarah just said, imagine being so worn out by the time you get home, knowing you've got all this work you have to do and not having any energy to give to that. And it's a vicious cycle where the next day you're loading up on that caffeine, you're loading up on sugary snacks, and you know it's not healthy for you, but you do whatever you can to get by.
Mhm.
Wow, Sarah, that in itself, that alone is just so powerful. And I know what Beth has to say is just as powerful. So, Beth, if you don't mind going through and telling us what your experience has been like in the past.
Absolutely. Like you said, I taught for a very long time. That was my career. That's what I went into. And I probably 90% of my career was working in special needs. So I worked the whole gamut. I've worked in regular ed as well as special needs. So um, I found that it was always very demanding. You always had to be on your toes. From the very first time I stepped foot into a classroom, I think I was only 20 years old. And from the time I did that, I was always on the run. And yes, you start before so early. Your day starts so early, and you're a given. And yes, you come home so totally exhausted, and that there really isn't a whole lot left to give. And I found myself, in that in the schools from like Sarah, oftentimes, especially as I grew in my career, that I was needed at different schools. And so I would find myself maybe starting at one school and then transitioning during the day to another school. And that often is a situation that teachers find themselves in. And it's so difficult to manage a healthy lifestyle along with that, because you are spending commuting time, but you're still expected to keep up with everything that's going on at both schools and keep up with your caseload. And for a special ed teacher, we have, you know, paperwork that has to be done that's legally binding, and you have to be very meticulous with it. You have to dot all your T's and cross all your I's. I said that backwards, didn't I? You have to dot all your I's and cross all your T's, and you've got to make sure that everything's in order. And you want to come into those meetings as a teacher with your parents, and you want to come across very, very positive. But as you find yourself so exhausted, I found myself that it was very often hard to do that. So, the tools that, as I was teaching, I was also working on multiple degrees at the same time, and I really fizzled out. I really became so exhausted that I really loved to throw that alarm clock across the room. I hit it multiple times during the day, and I was surviving on diet sodas and kettle chips. It had become very unhealthy, and so unhealthy that I had landed myself in the hospital multiple times for lengthy times of not time stays. And I find that this is something that happens to teachers as we go through our careers. Sarah, you're young. And I wish that I had been able to implement the changes as young as you are, because it is absolutely life-changing to be able to know what to do for yourself in such simplicity.
Wow. And listen to the words that Sarah and Beth both just said. They said they were surviving, right? Living from coffee to coffee, or diet soda to, junk food. And we all do the best that we can, right? And if you can relate, give me some hearts. Comment on that one, because we know it's not healthy, but we continue those habits because it's all we know until there's something that changes all of it. And what's amazing is both of these ladies have changed all of it. And so, Sarah, if you don't mind, can you tell me a little bit about being introduced to the Thrive experience, who introduced you, and what your first few days of experiencing that was like.
Yeah, so actually the time that I got introduced to it, I had just accepted a new position at a new school because um I was I was commuting over 3 hours a day just to go to work every single day the year before that. And so I was spent. I was done. And the winter break I spent trying to recuperate, and trying to get back to feeling human again, because I didn't I didn't feel that way anymore. And so basically a friend of mine reached out to me pretty much January around that time. It was about 2 years ago now. Can't believe it's about 2 years ago. But so she introduced it to me, and she introduced it to me for the business side because she knew I was struggling with debt and struggling with trying to pay off the debt and save money and all of that stuff. So basically, I looked at her and I was like, I'm not interested in doing any of this stuff. Like at all, zero. I don't even want to hear about it. And so she was like, well, okay. She's like, okay, I understand that. She's like, but take a look at the products because I do think that they'll speak to you. So I took a look at the products and I was like, okay, what is this? And so I started to look into it and I was a bit skeptical at first. But I was like, what if this is the thing that I need to just get me through, the day and to, that I feel better and I can actually get myself in hands again. And I was looking at all these testimonials of people and how their lives had changed. And I was like, is this really real? So anyways, I gave it a try. I got myself a full month supply as a customer. And so I began my experience. I was pretty excited when I came in because I had kept going and looking at the testimonials, and I was like, okay, wait, there seems to be a theme here of people really being able to really feel better, change their lives, and the energy and all that stuff. And that's what I was lacking the most, right? So I'm like, what? If this can help me get healthier and feel better, why not? So went ahead, grabbed the product, started the product. I felt amazing on day one. I was driving to work, singing and dancing to music, to just listening to music, singing and dancing on my way to work, which hadn't happened in years. And I was like, what's going on? But I kind of just dismissed it because you're like, there's no way a product can work as fast as on day one. And I know that that's not what everyone feels, but I felt something for sure. And that day I was like, it was on. I was there for my students and I was like, da, 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 da. And it was like, done, 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 done. And I came to the end of the day and I was like, okay, what is this? So I kept going. Day 3 came and then I went ahead and I was like, okay, woke up before my alarm, which I was the snooze queen. If you know me, I was the sweet snooze queen. I would go ahead and press snooze and snooze and snooze. And my fiance would actually get mad at me and say, just get up. But I would snooze until the last minute I could, until and then I would put my hair up in a bun and go, you know what I mean? That was literally it. And just grab breakfast on my way to work because I didn't have time to make it. But that day I got up earlier before my alarm went and I was on it. I had made myself a great breakfast. I had a great morning, went to work, had a great day at work, went to get food after work at the grocery store, made a huge supper. People were like, what's going on with her? Because I was like, I would usually resort to takeout because I didn't want to do anything. And then went back to working out. But this time I knew something was different. I felt different. And I was working out and I was like, I can do this. Like, I can finish this workout and I can get out and I'm going to come back. And then on day 10, I had realized I had been feeling so good for like 10 days straight. And I was like, okay, this is it. I pressed that promoter button. Like, I'm telling you, I had to start sharing because everyone I was speaking to back then, the first words out of their mouth were, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I can't keep going, I'm feeling, and I said, so many people need this. And so that's when I started to share. But now I'm actually a spin instructor. I'm a Zumba. I actually just got my Zumba certification. I'm getting a certification in nutrition. Like, it's insane what's been happening. And like my classroom, I'm a well-oiled machine now. It's let's go, you know, and the things get done. And, you know, like report card season, I'm like, yeah, I do get stressed, but here's the thing is that I know it's going to get done. And I know that I'm not going to have to stay up until midnight in order to do them. I know that you know, whatever it is that I need to do, I'm going to be able to do it. And I'm no longer just surviving, and I'm not living for my job. You know what I mean? And so, and here's the thing is that I love to teach. I love it. Virtual teaching right now, that's my reality. I teach kindergarten during the day, and it's something that I absolutely love to do, but it's no longer the thing that's taking all of me. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the day, right now, to be speaking to you 2 years ago, I would not have been able to. Not even. Could not even form a sentence at the end of the day, because I was done. Like, no more, you know? So that's where a little bit about my story. And I just keep sharing because it's the most incredible thing that's ever happened.
Wow. And Sarah's very humble, but she's actually the social media queen. So to go from snooze queen to social media queen, watch out, guys. Like 3 steps, 20 minutes of your day. Like, oh my God, that transformation. Yes. And she started with what if. Imagine starting with what if and getting to the level that you've been dreaming. That's insane, Sarah.
So something like that, the social media thing. Guys, I started not knowing anything about it. I was barely even posting online. And so to be told I'm the social media queen is like weird to me, because I'm like, really? Like, because you know, I never thought I could do something like this, and it's been a real passion, and it's somewhere where I can put my creative. I was actually speaking to someone about this today. It's somewhere where I can put a creative outlet other than teaching, and so it's just it's become a real passion. Yeah,
and you rock it, girl.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Beth, I'm so excited to hear more about your story. So if you can, you know, tell us a little bit about how you were introduced, your first few days, and where you're at now.
Okay. I was working in a high school setting at the time that I was introduced to these nutraceuticals, and I was trying to keep up. When you're working with teenagers, you've got to stay up with their everything that's going on, all the music, all the cultural changes in terminology and everything. And I'm like, oh, and my brain was just really dragging. And at the end of that school year, my first school, the end of that school year, in that school for high school, I was introduced, and I was at a really low place. I had spent lots of time just really trying to heal myself. I had been surviving on baby food. I had like really, really bad gut health. And I thought I had tried to stop the Diet Coke. You know, a teacher's going to walk down the hallway most of the time every morning with a cup of coffee or some sort of caffeine, whether it's an energy drink or diet or some kind of soda to try to get going. I did not really enjoy getting up anymore at that point because I was just so mentally and physically tired. I call myself, I kind of had, and I joked about it. I had the teacher arms. And I just thought it was like one of those hereditary things because teachers run in my family. I just thought it was one of those things. We were all supposed to have that, and that's just the way it was. And when I was introduced to it, I was at such a place where when somebody came to me and introduced this DFT to me, I was very well aware of getting things through my skin because I had been on some prescription things that I was getting through my skin. And I remember going along and going at one point and going, Lord, just please give me a choice. Give me some way to not have to get this prescription medication. And for me, I had just stopped all of that. And so I knew that this was great because I had terrible gut. I couldn't swallow vitamins. I got choked on every supplement that I tried because they were slimy. I didn't like the texture. I'm very texture, right? That really is an important thing to me. And when I found that this went down smooth, I didn't get choked. I began by day 3. I'm like, I had energy. I was starting to do things in my household. Now, granted, I didn't have any comparison to what was happening in the classroom, but I had comparison knowing that I was beginning to wake up, even though it was the end of the school year. I wasn't sleeping in. I was up. I was doing things. I began to feel well. By day 7, I was out in my yard working. I was doing landscaping. I was doing the things that brought joy to me. So fast forward, by day 7, I'm like, this is real. This is not placebo effect. This is the real thing. I began to be able to eat again. Um, the diet sodas didn't taste good to me anymore. I didn't go to this grocery store and buy the kettle chips and the stuff on the inside of the grocery store anymore. I started really craving the stuff on the outside of the grocery store, which is healthier. And so that even those habits began to change. And I saw that, you know what? I began to save money. Teachers were on a tight budget. And, by the end of the school year, sometimes we're scratching our head going, how are we going to make it through the summer? And so that side business that I had in educational consulting, I found that when the first of this past year and everything kind of shut down, I lost that too. And so I really pivoted. I pivoted and putting all of my energy into telling people about how incredibly great you can feel. Can I go ahead and talk about my further results?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
2 months into it, Ashley, I had lost 2 bathing suit sizes. It was the middle of the summer, so that was incredibly great for me. Like that was like around 30 pounds. By Christmas, I was down about 40 pounds. So within just 6 months, I was able to just really feel good again. My joints didn't ache. I was headed for another knee replacement. Didn't have to have that. I entering back into the classroom in the fall, I realized I was keeping up. Everything wasn't in slow motion. I was enjoying conversations in the morning with my students. I was enjoying that drive to school, that drive in the morning. I wasn't hitting that alarm clock. And if you will, things just got bright again. So I really, really have seen it's all because of my gut, right? My gut got healthy. I lost the teacher arms, the visceral fat that 50-year-olds, 40, 50-year-olds begin to really acquire is gone. I thought I would always have that. There's stress, teachers, we're stressed, Sarah. I mean, there's so much that we deal with, and aside from you add the personal things in there, and there's so much stress that happens in our lives. I thought I was stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so thrilling not to be stuck where I was when I was introduced to this.
Wow. Wow. I mean, this ain't your mama's vitamins. Like,
Absolutely.
there is nothing out there that is like this. And, you bring up a good point too, Beth. Everybody thinks it's placebo effect. My husband thought it was placebo effect. But when it continues for months and years, is it a placebo effect at that point? Absolutely not. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. To crave healthier stuff, I have put urges, I've tried to mentally force myself to say I need to eat healthier. I need to work out. I need to drink more water. But when you're unbalanced in your gut, and everybody knows this, when you're unbalanced in your gut, you can't control it. It is very, very hard. And if you do those fad diets, it is not sustainable most times. It's not a sustainable process to follow. Wow, wow. Oh my God. Okay. So, you know what we've got a lot of people that are watching this and probably still skeptics, and that's okay. We all came from that standpoint. But I think you guys have a lot of power in your story, but you also have a lot of advice to share. So, Sarah, if you don't mind, what are the top 2 tips that you would give for teachers, really anyone out in the audience that is like, man, I need something like this, but maybe they're not ready. What kind of 2 pieces of advice would you give them?
Oh my gosh, Kate, I understand. I understand that you feel that you're not ready, but you so are. You're ready to feel better. You're ready to go ahead and actually, give this a try. See how you feel. Give it a 30-day or even like just 30 days. 30 days and see how you feel and really stay consistent with it, because I'm telling you, there's nothing that equivalates just how much this is going to help you and how much it's going to help you, like in the classroom as well as you're in your life. And so I get it though, because whenever I was introduced to it, I almost went by, because I was like, well, my mom's a pharmacist. I've tried supplements before. They haven't worked. Like, what makes this different? It's different in many different ways. Now I know why. We're not going to go into that. But you know what? Ask questions. Look into it. Really see, what this is and why this is so much different than other things out there. Okay? It's not, it's not your typical thing that you see online. It's not, and here's the thing is that start putting in place little simple things in your life. Don't change everything. This is my second tip. Don't change everything all at once and think that you're going to have like an overnight change or transformation, because here's the thing is little things will go far. Simple little things that you implement will go far and will take you further than you even think. It's the consistency in those simple things that will make things different. Another piece of advice, sorry, one more thing I think it's very important, okay, is the fact that you did not get where you are overnight, okay? So don't think that you're going to get where you want to go overnight, okay? Really think about that, okay? For me, I was where I was, and it took years for me to get there. Okay. So I knew that it wouldn't happen in 1 week or 2 weeks. I needed to give it time. Okay. So give it time, give yourself time, give yourself grace in that way, and then see what can happen. So anyways, that's it.
Love it. Love it. Beth, what two pieces of advice do you have?
If you're a teacher out there, if you're in the business world, you always go through personal development. If you sat in a personal development class, after school or before school, and everything sounded like it was the Charlie Brown, right? You don't need to be there. This is the way for you to have that clarity of thought, to be able to stay on your A game and feel like you can really participate and give back, because you're right, Sarah. We don't get there overnight. Give yourself time. We don't, the changes in the personal development that come along with, and the support that we give each other is absolutely incredible, because I see personal growth, my own personal growth, having taken leaps and bounds so much faster than the personal development that I received as a teacher. And that's not to say, to minimize what was being given. I just maybe I wasn't in a place where I could receive it because my wellness was so far off base. So if you feel stuck, there's no more needing to diet. I've tried everything out there. This just works. It fills in those nutritional gaps. Give it a chance. Listen, reach out to whoever invited you here and talk to them, because it is a game changer, no matter what your age and no matter what your capacity is, whether you're educating your child at home and you've suddenly been thrown into that role, or whether you are an educator by profession. We got you. We can come up with something that is going to fit into your budget, because I know all three of us are masters at designing those things, and we will give you the support even outside of the wellness realm of full, right? And we have an incredible group going on that gives that.
It's perfect. I couldn't give any better advice than what you two just did, and I'm so appreciative. So if you guys want to check out the fan page, what Sarah's talking about, that's over in Facebook under Le-vel. So just hit the search bar LE-VEL. You'll see that there. There's also a really cool Instagram page. That's the Le-vel official, LE_. Le-vel official, and you'll see it there as well. And so what I want to do is, for all you out there, whether you're catching this live or on the replay, go ahead and in the comments, tag a teacher friend that needs to watch this. And I am going to do a drawing, whether you're seeing this on Sarah's page, whether you're seeing this on Beth or my page, doesn't matter. I am going to do a drawing, invite the teacher to the page, have them say hi on this video, and I'm going to do a drawing on Sunday night and give 2 giveaways. One of the mini Thrive experience to the person that tagged, and one to the teacher as a gift. And the only caveat there is you have to have, this has to be a first time thriving for you. So you can't be a current customer or promoter. So that'll be kind of my gift to give back to teachers and a friend for bringing them into it.
I love that.
And if you have any questions, drop them down below and we'll reach out to you afterwards. But other than that, thank you so much, Sarah, Beth. I'm so appreciative of this. And I'll catch you guys in the next live. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.